Hey guys, Ben here, helping you earn more, spend less, and invest the difference. Now if you're watching this video, then chances are you are in credit card debt. And if that's the case, then you know just how much being in credit card debt sucks. Credit card debt is one of the worst types of debt that you can possibly have because the interest rate is so incredibly high. Credit cards are notorious for charging 20–25% interest or more each and every year. That means if you have $10,000 in credit card debt at a 20% interest rate, that is roughly $2,000 a year in interest that you're paying. Think about that for a second. That means the first roughly $170 a month that you pay towards that credit card bill is going straight to interest. You're not even touching the principal. And that's how making the minimum payments every month or otherwise just a low monthly payment, you never really get anywhere. All you're really doing is just paying down that interest. You're never really touching the principal. So if you feel like you're treading water, you're paying a bunch of money to your credit card bills, but your balance is never going down, it's because of the interest rates. But what if I told you that there was a way to pay down your credit cards rapidly and potentially pay zero, yes, that's right, zero interest doing so? Now in this video, I'm going to talk about a couple of different scenarios. Obviously, the better your credit score overall is, the more options that you have, but I'm also going to give some options for people on the lower end of the credit spectrum. Now, ideally, you have a good or at least a decent credit score, and you can take advantage of the first method, which is going to be balance transfers. So essentially what a balance transfer is, let's say that you've racked up a large amount of credit card debt on this one particular credit card that you've had. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go out and you're going to apply for a second credit card. You'll get a credit card that specializes in balance transfers. And typically the way that works is, let's say that you had $10,000 in credit card debt on this card. You would transfer that debt to your new card. So now your new card has $10,000 in debt and your old card has $0. And you could potentially be paying 0% interest during the promotional period with this new credit card. A lot of cards that specialize in balance transfers, a lot of times you can get 12 months of 0% interest or 18 months of 0% interest, etc. Now, a lot of times when you are making this transfer, these credit cards charge what's known as a balance transfer fee. And that's usually somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 or 4%. So what that means is when you are transferring this $10,000 over to your new credit card, they will immediately charge you 3%. So that $10,000 bill suddenly becomes $10,300. But the good news, like I said, is then for the rest of the promotional period, the 12 months or 18 months, whatever it is, you're getting charged 0 interest on this new credit card. So every payment that you make is going straight to the principal and paying that down. And that can be very beneficial because, like I said, remember when we were talking about you might be paying $2,000 or more in interest every year? Well, simply by negating a year's worth of interest or 18 months, you can make significant headway by paying down this credit card during that intro offer. So what are some of the examples of the credit cards that I would actually recommend applying for in order to take advantage of this balance transfer process? Well, the first one is going to be the Discover It Cashback credit card. This card does charge a 3% balance transfer fee, but it offers 0% interest for the first 14 months. So you're going to be able to make a significant amount of headway during that time. And at the end of that 14 months, if you haven't paid down your debt entirely, then you can just simply apply for another credit card that offers a 0% APR introductory period for a balance transfer. Now, what I like about the Discover It Cashback credit card is it's a little bit more lenient as far as credit score when you're trying to apply for it. It's recommended that you have at least a 690 credit score or higher. Now, if your credit score is a little bit higher, if it's above a 720, then you might be able to apply for the Citi Double Cash credit card. While the credit requirements are a little bit higher for this particular card, the offer is also better. For this offer, they're going to charge you that same 3% balance transfer fee, but you're going to get 18 months of 0% interest once you actually transfer that balance to this new Citi Double Cash card. Now, if you're a member of Navy Federal Credit Union, you can apply for their Platinum card. Now, the Platinum card with Navy Fed is one of the absolute best credit cards that you could use for this balance transfer method, because not only does it give you 12 months of interest free on this new credit card, but they are not going to charge you that balance transfer fee. So there is no 3% fee just for moving this money over to this new card. The transfer is 100% free. So if you had $10,000 in debt over here on your old card, you could simply move that $10,000 completely free over here and you would pay no interest for the first 12 months. The only problem with this credit card is it's a little bit hard to join Navy Federal Credit Union. Typically they deal with military members, DoD, civilians, or government contractors, etc. But if you're not a military member yourself, if you have someone in your immediate family that is or was military, then you might be able to join this credit union through them. Another fantastic option if you have really good credit is going to be the SunTrust Prime Rewards credit card. Now this credit card does not charge a balance transfer fee. There is no upfront fee for transferring, but they're not going to give you 0% interest, but they're going to give you very low interest. They're going to give you 3.25% interest, but they're going to do it for a whopping 36 months. That's right, a full 3 years of only 3.25% interest rate. So this credit card is going to give you a significant amount of time to pay down that debt. So just how much of a difference can some of these credit cards make in terms of being able to pay down your debt? Well, let's assume that we had that $10,000 worth of credit card debt at a 20% interest rate and we were just paying $300 a month. That's what we were able to afford. In that case, we wouldn't be able to pay this off for 50 months. That's over 4 years of making payments. And to make matters worse, we would be charged over $4,700 in interest. So that $10,000 initial credit card debt turned into something closer to $15,000 in total debt by the time we took in that interest. But what if instead we had used that SunTrust Prime Rewards credit card with a 3.25% interest as opposed to a 20% interest credit card? Well, in that case, if we still make these same $300 a month payments, we'll be able to make this bill go away after only 35 months. This bill is going to be completely gone by the time this introductory offer wears off. And as the cherry on top, we only paid about $500 in interest. So just simply by getting this credit card, we saved almost $4,200 in interest. The $4,700 that we were previously paying versus the $500 that we're paying with this SunTrust Prime Rewards credit card. But what if you don't have good enough credit to apply for some of these balance transfer credit cards? What can you do in a case like that? Well, my first suggestion, honestly, is just to beg, borrow, and steal the money from somebody else. All right, well, maybe don't steal it, but definitely at least beg and borrow. Sometimes you might be surprised as far as who is willing to help you out in a financial crisis, especially if you promise to repay them or maybe pay them back with some interest. Maybe you give them 5 or 10% interest just as a thank you for helping you out. Maybe you got a mom or dad, brother, sister, uncle, grandma, grandpa. Somebody in your family might have some money that they can lend you to help pay down this debt. Other good options involves going to a bank and getting an unsecured loan and using the proceeds from that loan to pay off your credit card debt, because your credit card debt is probably at a much higher interest rate than this personal loan that you're getting from the bank. From what I've seen, PNC Bank typically has the lowest rates as far as personal loans. You can go to PNC Bank and get a $10,000 personal loan for somewhere between 7% and 10%. It just kind of depends on your financial situation, your credit score, your income, that kind of a thing. But paying 7 or 10% interest is dramatically better than paying 20% or more interest on your credit card. Remember, on a $10,000 credit card bill, the difference between 20% interest a year and 10% interest a year is going to be the difference of roughly $1,000 in interest just in that first year alone. So those are the good options to pay down your credit cards rapidly. If those options are not available, then it's time to really start scrapping and fighting for your financial future. Maybe get a second job or a side hustle. make sure you start budgeting and cutting back on your monthly expenses and just start throwing as much money as you possibly can towards those credit card bills and pay them down rapidly. The faster you pay them down rapidly, the less you will actually be charged in interest. Now, if this video was useful, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below, give it a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and as always, I'll see you all again next time. Thanks.